You're listening to the Weekly Waltz with Jimmy Byrne.
Greetings, music geeks, audiophiles, and juggalos. My name is Jimmy, and you are listening to the Weekly Waltz, episode 14. I'm here with Gehring from Villa Coola. How are you doing?
I'm good, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic today. We're here recording this on New Year's Eve. We're getting close to 2015. How do you feel about that?
Good. Crazy. 2014 has been a crazy year, and in so many ways, I'm so excited for 2015.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots of I'm excited for a whole new year to start, doing recording projects and listening to a whole bunch more music and making more podcast episodes and stuff like that.
And check this out. Can you believe that kids that were born in 2002 are now 13?
Jesus.
Little food for thought.
What is going on? Okay, well, today for episode 14, we have an awesome lineup of songs, as always. We're going to start things off with Sunny War, a musician from Nashville, Tennessee. She put out an album called Worthless on May 13th, and this is a song from that album called Desperate that we're going to be playing soon. After that, we're going to hear from Roads of Solace, a Chicago band. We're going to play their song Alien from the Cherry Pit Sessions EP, which was released on August 18th. Then we're going to go and listen to some Villa Coola from Mr. Gehring over here.
Let's do it.
We played his song June on our first episode. Mm-hmm. So thank you for being a part of our first episode of the Weekly Waltz.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. But I enjoyed that song very much. So I wanted to find some time to have you back on the show and to be able to play another song from you.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back.
For sure. So yeah, this time we're gonna play Green from the same EP, which the last song was on. Okay, Bye. And that was released on July 14th. And then we're going to top things off with a Twin Cities musician, Lauren Becker. And she's kind of contemporary Christian music. But this is a song that she released called Total Abandonment, which came from an album under the same name, Total Abandonment. And it was actually produced by Nathan Lundstrom, who I had on the show, I think on episode 8. Yeah, so it was produced by Nathan Lundstrom, who I had on for episode 8, and that was released on November 11th. And she's also actually in the process of making a new album with somebody else, so I am looking forward to hearing that as well. But here we go. Let's start things off here by listening to some tunes. Let's get right into listening to Sunny War and her song Desperate. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
for me. But I need somebody. Somebody to need me. I'm so desperate. I'm so desperate. I'm so desperate for love. For love.
The Weekly Waltz.
All right, that was Sunny War and her song Desperate from the album Worthless. And that was released on May 13th. She is an artist from Nashville, Tennessee. Really, really great musician overall, I think. I mean, I've heard... she put out an album before this one, and I heard that whole album, and I bought it when I went to see... I saw her perform live in Chicago, like back in 2010 or 2011. And I picked up a copy of that album. I met her. I mean, she's a really cool person overall. But yeah, I mean, I listened to that whole album, and she's a very intricate guitar player.
Yeah.
You could hear like right away when she started strumming and she started doing those really intricate patterns on the guitar. And I was kind of thrown away when I heard this song, because like the opening line is like so somber, and the overall tone of the lyric is very like depressing, and like, you know, the first line is like, wish I was pretty, like
Yeah, it's so intimate, man. She's really like laying it out there for you, and her playing is just so, it sounds so natural, but there's still so much like muscle in it. I really like that song. I mean, I think it's hard to write a song that is that straightforward and like really vulnerable.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a risk as an
it
artist.
It really
to write that song.
exposes yourself, and like just kind of she just kind of just threw her entire personality out there with that song, which is it's a hard thing to do as an artist, because like to throw everything that is about you into a song and like put it out there to the public. But I think that a lot of the great songwriters of our time, and like a lot of people that I'll hear nowadays who are putting out music, are the ones who are able to, you know, take that risk and put themselves onto the record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, whether or not that song is autobiographical for her, she's definitely channeling something that it really feels like she feels that way.
Yeah.
And if she personally doesn't feel that way, she's channeling into something that so many people have felt, which is great.
Yeah,
really
absolutely. Good. Well, yeah, so yeah, once again, that was Sunny War. I will provide all of her links for you to check out her music at the end of the show. Please do. Really great album that she released recently. But right now we're going to go into some music news.
Okay.
So we'll chat about that a little bit. First on the list, Joe Cocker passed away December 22nd at age 70 from a long battle with lung cancer. He was propelled to pop stardom when his version of With a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles reached number 1 in 1968.
Wow.
And man, that was sad to hear that news. I mean, there have been so many, like in the past couple months especially, like there are so many people who are passing away who are big names in the music industry.
Dude, time keeps going on, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I know Joe Cocker, he does You Are So Beautiful.
Yep.
That's the one that I think of. I feel like what is that movie? Little Rascals.
Little Rascals, yep.
Yeah, that's what makes me think of that.
Yeah.
We need those voices, especially as like American Idol and the, what's the other one? The Voice.
Yeah.
Especially as those voices or those shows become more popular. I mean, there's a lot of good vocalists on those shows, but they all do like the over singing, all these extra intervals, beautiful belting ballads.
Right.
And those people are great. Like everyone on that show can sing the pants off of anything. But I feel like we're sort of moving to this place where the public only views one specific type of singing as, exceptional and important.
Yeah.
And we're missing. I wish we had more like vocalists with really individual sounding voices.
Very true. Yeah. Well, overall, very sad thing to hear about Joe Cocker. Great musician, great person from what I've heard, and he will be missed. So rest in peace. Marilyn Manson admitted to NME recently that he feels more confident about this forthcoming album than any album he has released in the past 15 years since 2000's Hollywood. For the new album, Manson is collaborating with Tyler Bates, a film composer known for his work on Guardians of the Galaxy. When asked about the new album, Manson stated that fate has brought things together for a reason. It feels as if things were meant to fall into this exact place. This isn't the ultimate of what I can achieve, but I'm showing proper respect for myself and what I've created in the past. It's what was meant to be. Yeah.
Wow.
I really, to be honest, I haven't heard much of Marilyn Manson stuff. I've heard the really popular things, like, The Beautiful People and his cover of Sweet Dreams or whatever.
Yeah, dude, I like that actually. It's good.
No, it's super cool. And but in the past couple months, I've been for some reason, I had a 2-day period where I was just watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos of Marilyn Manson interviews, and I was kind of shocked by how humble and how down to earth of a person he is, because his whole stage persona is fuck this, fuck the system, hey, but in real life he's this, he's just a dude. So it's I was really shocked to see how calm and humble he is as a person.
Well, I will say I agree with you on that. From interviews that I've seen and just articles I've read and just some videos, he's definitely a very articulate dude who knows exactly what he's doing. I got a lot of respect for him. Even I think he's also one of those artists that's really figured out how to cultivate an artistic personality that's just as much a part of his music as his his voice or any sort of guitar playing he would do.
Very true.
And I respect that. In a way he was this might be a weird connection to draw, but he was almost the metal or alternative rock version of Lady Gaga. I view him he is not really Marilyn Manson, but sometimes he's Marilyn Manson.
Right.
In the same way that Lady Gaga is not really Lady Gaga, but she thinks she is. She tries to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited to hear what they come out with that new album. Then, just the fact that he's collaborating with this Guardians of the Galaxy film composer. It's I'm interested to hear what kind of sounds that album comes out with, because he also, I think, additionally, something that he said was that it has kind of a rock and roll vibe to it, something kind of branching away from the normal stuff that he does. So I'm excited to hear what that is.
Well, yeah, kudos to him for continuing.
Absolutely.
It'd be easy to just throw in the towel at this point.
Oh yeah, super. Sting and Al Green were two of those honored at the Kennedy Center for 2014, an event which was broadcasted on Tuesday night, December 30th. Each of the musicians was honored with a video and performances by musical colleagues of their songs. For Al Green's honor, Usher, Jennifer Hudson, and Mavis Staples performed. And for Sting, covers were performed by Lady Gaga, Herbie Hancock, and Esperanza Spalding, Bruce Springsteen, and Bruno Mars.
Whoa, okay. Yeah.
Did you see that yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
I saw it last night. My family was just kind of watching it on the couch, and I just kind of sat down and was I'll watch this too. And I only caught the Sting one. I didn't see the one for Al Green because I think he went before Sting.
Yeah.
But the Sting covers that all of those guys did were phenomenal.
Tell me what Bruno Mars did, because it's funny you said Bruno Mars, because that single he has, Lock Out of Heaven,
right?
I thought that was a Police song. Right. When I heard the first 10 seconds of it on the radio, I was like, what?
Yeah, well, I was also kind of blown out of the way. I'll get to the covers in a minute, but I was also kind of blown away by when I heard just the fact that Bruno Mars was covering a Sting song or a Police song, how similar their voices sound. Their vocal ranges are very similar, because Bruno Mars can get up there.
Bananas, dude. Yeah. He's got a creep.
So Bruno Mars performed two Police songs, So Lonely and Message in a Bottle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to leave shortly before Bruno Mars played his covers, but I saw them on YouTube today, and they're really good. Like, I mean, vocally, Bruno Mars is a great performer.
He has a new song I just heard with Mark Ronson. Have you
Yep,
heard that one?
Uptown Funk.
It's nuts, dude. It's so good.
Great,
yeah.
great song.
And
Holy
so
cow.
like different from like I guess what I was expecting to hear on the radio at like 6:30 coming home in traffic.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy with just kind of the fact that with all these new releases, like Mark Ronson collaborating with these musicians or whatever, I'm happy that it was released as Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson, and it's kind of like bringing the importance of the producer role back into music.
Yeah, he's getting just as much credit as Bruno Mars.
Sure,
he should be.
Yeah.
I think most vocalists would be pretty daunted to try to cover a Sting song.
Sure.
Sting, oh my god, especially like the young Sting. It's just insane, his vocal range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get cracking into our second song, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
This is gonna be from a Chicago band called Roads of Solace. They released a song called Alien on an EP that was released on August 18th, called the Cherry Pit Sessions. So, this is Alien. I'll tell you where you can go and check that out at the end of the show, and we'll talk a little bit about it after we hear the song.
Sounds good.
Here we go with Alien by Roads of Solace. All right, so once again, that was Roads of Solace, a band from Chicago, with their song Alien, which was released. It was released on August 18th from the Cherry Pit Sessions EP. That was cool. Very heavy-hitting drums.
Yeah, we were talking about the kick
entire
pattern
thing.
during
Yeah,
that.
the kick part.
I'm really into that, yeah.
That was really cool. Very, like, the guitar tones, like, all the guitar tones were very chunky and very, like, they sound very well produced.
Yeah. Do you ever listen to 94.7 The Zone? Do you remember that radio station?
Yes.
That was, like, that track for me was so 94.7 The Zone, like, the best ways. Like, that was a track that I would have been so excited to hear.
Yeah, I've never heard a song compared to a radio station.
Yeah. I mean, I guess an easier comparison would be, like, Q101 back in the day.
Yeah,
but yeah.
no, for sure. Yeah, that would be, that does, though, like, now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, the guitar tones in it, it was hard for me to tell, like, at a lot of times, like, how many guitar players there were and how many guitar parts there were throughout that song, because they were just so in your face and so loud, and, like, if it was, like, a fake amp that they used, like, I'm very impressed by the fake amp that they used, because it sounded, like, so real and so, like,
really polished, really muscular.
Yeah. This song definitely wakes you up and punches you in the face. The transition part, like, right around the 1 minute 30 mark from that really heavy hitting, drums and guitar parts into the verse section, was pretty cool, because it, like, jumps right into, like, a haunting vocal line and, like, very relaxed instrumental accompaniment with some synths, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice production on that track for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think overall, I mean, just throughout the whole track, it kind of sounded like, to me, like Metallica combined with Porcupine Tree and an alternative singer.
Yeah, the whisper vocals for sure, I was very much into. Yeah. I really, really appreciated the production overall. I mean, that song sounds like $1 million. Sounds like they really did a good job with mixing and mastering there.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get into our trivia game here.
Do it.
How do you think you're gonna do?
I don't know.
Scared?
Knowing nothing about the stakes or any of the rules or any of the questions, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I feel pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now. So this week we're going to do hometown heroes.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to guess the hometowns of these bands.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you 10 bands, and I'll give you 2 options for each hometown, and then you just guess which one.
Feeling good about this.
Possibly be. And then at the end, if you get 6 or more correct out of 10, then you get a Weekly Waltz sticker.
Ooh,
you get to
okay.
take home with you.
Awesome.
So get ready.
I'm in it. Let's go.
All right. Number 1's pretty easy, I think. I'd hope. The Beatles. Liverpool, England, or London, England?
Liverpool, England.
That is correct. Oasis. Derbyshire, England, or Manchester, England?
I'm gonna go with Manchester, England.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 3. The Yeah Yeah Yeahs. New York City or Seattle, Washington?
New York City.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The Police. London, England, or Glasgow, Scotland?
Ooh, I'm gonna go London, England.
That is correct.
Okay.
Number 5. Eagles. Were they from San Diego or Los Angeles?
Ooh. I'm just gonna say Los Angeles.
That is correct.
Yes. Okay.
You only need 1 more correct to get a week.
I'm feeling good.
You're on a roll, man.
Yeah, let's keep going.
All right. Number 6. Smashing Pumpkins. Oh God, this is easy. Chicago or Salt Lake City, Utah?
Chicago, definitely.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna do the last 4 just because we can do the last 4.
I want to. Yeah.
Number 7. Zac Brown Band. Nashville, Tennessee, or Atlanta, Georgia?
Ooh, Atlanta, Georgia. I think.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Number 8. Tame Impala. Are they from Perth, Australia, or Sydney, Australia?
Sydney, Australia.
Perth.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that's
to know.
1. That's 1 incorrect.
Okay.
Number 9. Elvis. Was he from Honolulu, Hawaii, or Memphis, Tennessee?
Memphis, Tennessee.
That is correct. And number 10. Cheap Trick. Are they from Chicago or Rockford, Illinois?
Rockford.
That is correct.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, you are on a roll. I think you're the first person I've had on the show that's only gotten 1 incorrect answer.
Well, it's an honor. Thank you.
Not a problem. Here, let me get your sticker. 1 second.
Yeah, let's get it. I'm looking at the sticker now, and it looks good.
Awesome. Yeah, just glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So now that we've done that, we're going to get into your song.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind listening to yourself again.
No, I don't.
But yeah, it's a standard procedure here at the Weekly Waltz.
Of course.
So we're going to hear Green, which is another song from the EP that was released earlier this year called Okay Bye. And the song we heard in episode 1 was June, if you want to go back. That's a good song as well. But we're going to get into Green now. So here we go. and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards.
Sounds good.
Just
Yeah.
kind of ask you some questions about it and the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here we go. Let's do it.
All right.
Green by Villa Coola.
Baby makes me so green. I wanna see if you can see what I mean. She's not here, but she's in my head, taking back all the little things she said.
The Weekly Waltz.
All right, very cool. That was Green, once again, from Villa Coola, the project from Mr. Gehring over here. So yeah, I mean, that whole track, I mean, I listened to the first one that you sent us for episode 1, and we played that, obviously. I thought that, like, overall, like, in that song was probably my favorite from the EP, but I think, like, just overall, I mean, it's a very, like, creative tone, and it has a very, like, it has a very rock and roll vibe to it, the EP overall, but it also has a lot of, like, poppy melodic instrument parts.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just kind of blew me out of the water, because I really dig that kind of music a lot. But yeah, I mean, some of the little, like, production things in there, like the, you know, reverse cymbals and stuff like that sounded really cool. I like the creative direction you took with that. But so let me ask you then.
Sure.
So you started out in a band called The Welcome.
Yep.
So tell me about the progression of that band and how your career with them kind of went over the years and how it kind of progressed.
Yeah, well, The Welcome was great for me. You know, I was in a band in high school, and, you know, finished high school and wasn't really in a band, and knew I really wanted to be in a band. But it, you know, it just wasn't happening for me. So basically, me and one of my best friends at college started playing together. He's a drummer. And we just started putting up Craigslist ads for bandmates.
Okay.
And we did that. We eventually got, like, a full lineup. And then about a year and a half later, it just sort of came to be that certain members of the band, you know, when you get band members on Craigslist, you get a lot of turnover, because it's really hard to be on the same page with people that you've just met.
That's true.
It's just the nature of the beast. But I found myself in a really fortunate position where all of a sudden I woke up one day and I'd been in this band for like a year and a half, and it was just me and, like, my best friends. You know?
Yeah.
And that, I think, honestly, that's the dream if you're going to be in a band. It's just being with people that you care about and you know they have your back. And I did a lot of stuff that I'd never done before in that band. I had a lot of great opportunities. We got to tour some. We recorded 2 EPs and like a full-length album, and that was a wonderful experience. Learning a lot, but I'm also really proud of the music that we made.
Sure.
I would say that, I think the hardest part with any sort of artistic endeavor is just to keep going.
Sure.
So with me and my new project Villa Coola, it's a way for me to sort of hit reset, think about what I would like to do differently this time around, and keep going. I mean, I'll always be really proud of the work that I did in the Welcome, and I can't, I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, maybe someday we'll be playing again together. I'm in Ohio right now, and my bandmate Sarah's in San Francisco, and Jonah's still in Chicago, so we're kind of all over the place. But
sure,
I wouldn't rule it out, but it's got to be. Being in a band can be very stressful, even if everyone has their best intentions in mind. So
yeah, exactly. And so just the fact that like you guys were all in different areas, and kind of due to the fact that you kind of just had different things that you wanted to go on and do, was kind of what contributed to wanting to kind of break off and do a kind of a solo thing for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I being in a band and for 3 years, it really doesn't sound that long, but it's a long time. I mean, I was 20 when I started playing that band, and 23 when the band finished, and 24 actually. I think it was more like 3.5 years. But I if it were up to me, if there was some magic way that I could just put out music like every month,
right,
and have the thing that I've really learned about being in a band and creating music since then is that you have to really space out your shows and space out your releases, because it's like any product that you're delivering, you want people to value it.
Yeah.
So I have this like real itching desire to just be putting out music constantly, but the truth of the matter is that unless I'm Tom York, most people probably aren't going to care. So it's easier to give your listeners something to focus on. So for me, I've always had side projects, even when I was in the Welcome, and it was something that I wasn't. I missed being in the Welcome, and it was a great band, and part of me is very sad that we had to take a break, but I also had peace of mind in knowing that I was going to be able to keep creating and keep putting out music, because I had any number of projects I could turn to and just focus on more. I
gotcha. Yeah. So you put out this EP in what was it, July? Yeah, July. So, and I mean the songs, like I said, are very very creative and very. I hear a lot of really good songwriting styles and like direction being put into there. So I was just curious, like after kind of listening for some of the lyrics and stuff, it's kind of hard to decipher through the falsetto. But
yeah, it's a struggle, man. Yeah.
But yeah, like what were some of those like the early inspirations for writing those songs? Like what are some of those kind of derived off of?
Yeah, well, this EP, I mean, thank you for asking. This EP is definitely, I would say up until about a year ago, my goal with songwriting was always to try to, be as clever as possible, and maybe I was really into using a lot of big words or maybe cool words, and I've always wanted to write catchy material. I guess it's just what I like to do.
Sure.
I guess I personally believe that a mark of a good song is how memorable it is.
Oh,
so
sure.
if you can walk away after listening to it once and you're humming it a little bit, I think that's great. But this EP for me is full of a lot of songs where I've just this year has been a weird year for me in that things are coming to an end. I got out of a relationship pretty much right at the start of 2014.
Okay.
And it was, I don't know, if you've ever been through a bad breakup, or anyone that's been through a bad breakup can speak to how long it can take to get back on your feet. And this EP for me is a first in that it was really like a let me sort through some stuff, let me like write down how I'm feeling, let me like process what I'm thinking about, and fortunately, I think I managed to put some songs together that aren't, just me crying for like 20 minutes. But
I mean, that would be a pretty cool song.
Just 20 minutes of crying.
20 whole minutes of somebody crying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So this a lot of the lyrics for me on this EP are very raw, and I really just wanted to say, this is how I feel. I'm not trying to be clever about it. But then at the same time, if you can do that and still put a little bit of a pop element into it, I think it makes it a little easier for people to swallow.
Right.
You know?
Definitely. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I said in the EP, there's a lot of like the very creative production tactics, like the reverse cymbals and stuff like that I noticed in that kind of whooshy stuff. So did you you obviously wrote the songs, you obviously in the recording process, did you have a lot to do with the production of it and like most of the engineering work and stuff?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This entire EP is just me with a laptop. I mean, it was me going to my band's practice space and drinking a cup of coffee and sitting down. And I can be a bit of a control freak. So for me, being able to sit in a room with a laptop and it's just me and I have all the time in the world, that's like my dream come true. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of collaborating. I love collaborating with people, and I think working together is important. But for me and this project and how personal it was really important to me just to have my own time. I mean, basically what you're hearing on this EP is me playing a song on the guitar and then going back and either changing parts in the mix or just adding tracks to make it sound more than just like a solo acoustic performance.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So who are some of your like biggest influences musically, either now or like throughout your career as a musician? I guess.
I think that the comparison is probably obvious, and I've gotten this comparison a lot, but Justin Vernon and Bon Iver is what got me through last winter. I mean, this past winter, 2013 to 2014, was just so brutal, like temperature-wise and like emotionally for me, and there was a period of time where I would just go to work and I had a playlist of like just 2 albums and that EP he put out, and I would just listen to that over and over and over and over again.
I gotcha.
So I love Justin Vernon, an incredible amount of respect for him. I've always been a really big fan of, especially in the wintertime, surf rock music, which might sound funny, but I guess I kind of like to sort of like, through listening, sort of go to California.
Okay, yeah.
And so Waves, actually, I don't know if you listen to Waves at all.
I've definitely heard some of this.
Yeah, Waves for me, I love Waves, but what I love most about it is this dude, Nathan, his attitude of like, I have not figured my stuff out, but like, who cares? Like, I'm gonna go do my own thing. And he's vulnerable, but he's not like pathetic about it. He's kind of like, hey, I'm me, deal with it. Listen, these are my shortcomings. Here we go. And that's an important viewpoint, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So in the future of Villa Coola, is there anything new we can look forward to? Anything new in the works? Any new releases?
Yeah, I've been working on an album actually since September. I'm working on it, and I'm hoping to put it out. I'll definitely be putting it out sometime in 2015. I can't say more than that right now. I would say I'm about 70% done. I've got a few more tracks I'm going to record, sort of sit back, see how they sound to me, and then see if I need to sort of redo anything or touch stuff up. But yeah, definitely like a full-length album.
That's awesome.
Next year.
I'm looking forward to that. And finally, I have to touch on the falsetto voice. So was this a decision made by you? Because I know that's definitely like, I've seen performances that you've done with like The Welcome and heard videos of you playing with them. So I know that's definitely not like your quote-unquote normal singing voice.
It's no one's normal singing voice, yeah.
So like, what kind of sprung up the idea of kind of incorporating that into the Villa Coola thing?
Well, I appreciate the question. My normal singing voice, as you know, I think the normal male singing voice is, a certain register, and for me, I've always been told that I have a really, nice, pretty male singing voice. It's not, I wouldn't call my normal singing voice particularly spectacular. I think it's a very capable singing voice, but oddly enough, when I started writing these songs, the thing that felt right to me was falsetto. I really think that when I listen to these songs, I don't hear so much of like Gehring the person. I hear almost like a different, this might sound a little crazy, but like a different like artistic place that I go to when I sing falsetto. It's like it doesn't sound quite as much like me. I don't hear as much of me in the songs, which helps me to sort of stay in my own head but not worry about, I guess if I would put it one way, it's like, if you're going to be a songwriter and you have songs that are very personal and important to you, and it's about stuff you've gone through, those songs better be like amazing, because like no one wants to hear like your diary if it sucks.
Right.
And so one way that I try to sort of remove a little bit of myself from the songs is to sing in falsetto. And I think I actually feel like it helps me emote in a certain way that I wouldn't be able to if I was singing in my normal register.
All right. And so, I mean, do you think that that's kind of the thing that you have been incorporating into this new album? And like, is that pretty much just a Villa Coola trademark?
Yeah. I mean, anyone is lucky if they can figure out a way to make a sound that they feel like has a little bit of their own signature on it. I think
Sure.
that's what any artist strives for. And so I've been sort of trying to strike the balance. I don't want to just give you, 10 tracks of falsetto and nothing
Right.
else. I've been incorporating, my natural register. And the main thing for me with the new album is just lots of vocal tracks. I want it to
Okay.
be kind of like rich, and the vocals as an instrument as much as anything else.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out and hear some tunes with me, talk about them, and share your whole where you're coming from with your process of Villa
Thank you for
Coola.
having me. I appreciate the questions.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm excited to hear what you have coming up with all of your Villa Coola stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Last up, we're going to hear from Lauren Becker, a musician from the Twin Cities, and her song Total Abandonment. It's a contemporary Christian song, and it was released on the same on an album under the same name, Total Abandonment, on November 11th. And she has a new album in the works, which I was forced by Nathan Lundstrom to plug into this episode. But yeah, she has a new album in the works, which will be released soon, so be looking out for that. I'll provide all her links at the end of the show, as well as everybody else's. And we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards, but let's take a gander over to hear what Lauren Becker has with Total Abandonment.
All right, yeah.
Lately they've been telling me that I'm crazy. Lately I've been feeling like I could drown. But I know that you're telling me not to give up. I know that I'm standing on solid ground. And though it's hard sometimes, I will always follow you, even if it means total abandonment of what I hold on to. Total abandonment of all I ever knew. Give me the strength to walk away from whatever I have true, so I can totally abandon my life to you. And all I know is I cannot deny you and all that you have done. And even if it hurts right now, it'll be worth it in the long run. Even if it means total abandonment
right, so once again, that was Lauren Becker. That last name is Becker, with her song Total Abandonment from the album Total Abandonment. That song had all of the instruments were very well produced and sounded very poppy, but not overproduced. It sounded raw enough to where I could believe that it was like all real instruments. But yeah, I mean, it just had a very great tone. So all of them had a very great tone to them. I don't think I've ever heard a ukulele recorded and produced to the point where it sounds on the same level as a guitar.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice ukulele track on that.
Yeah, and then towards the end of the song, like where the instruments kick in, it just sounded huge. And I mean, it was hard to hear for us, obviously, because we're listening on headphones. But I mean, when I listen to the song on like speakers or whatever, it sounds like so big and very spacey. It just, really great production job on the record by my friend Nathan there. And Lauren, I mean, as a songwriter, it's very apparent that she has some serious chops how to write a song with like very distinct differences in sections, but not different to the point where it just sounds like a whole different song. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, and I like the fact that this is obviously, it's a contemporary Christian record, so it's obviously going to have like very religious themed undertones and stuff like that, but I like when I hear a Christian record that isn't very like so blatantly like, you know, God and like this and that or whatever.
Yes, there was a certain amount of tact
like,
there, which is nice.
Yeah, I really liked it. It had like an obvious like underlie of religious undertones, but she wasn't like very flat out in saying that, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, I agree with everything you said. Production by your friend Nathan, especially, very nice.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's about all I got for this week. Thank you once again to Mr. Gehring over here from Villa Coola for coming on the show.
Happy to be here, thank you.
And I will now go through all of the links that you can listen to everybody that we played here on the show. First up, we heard from Sunny War and her song Desperate from the album Worthless, which was released on May 13th. She is a singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. Go and check her out at sunnywar.com, facebook.com/sunnywar, soundcloud.com/sunnywar, and youtube.com/sunnywarmusic. And you can spell that SUNNYWAR. Second up, we heard from Roads of Solace and their song Alien from the Cherry Pit Sessions EP, which was released on August 18th. They're a Chicago band, and you can go check them out at facebook.com/Roads of Solace, youtube.com/user/Roads of Solace, and roadsofsolace.bandcamp.com. Third, we heard from Villa Coola and their song Green from the EP OK Bye, which was released on July 14th. Go check them out at soundcloud.com/Villacoola and villacoola.tumblr.com. You are like one of the first people I know that has a Tumblr.
Just yeah. Couldn't tell you why. Just thought it might be nice.
And last up, we just heard from Lauren Becker and her song Total Abandonment from the album Total Abandonment, which was released on November 11th. Go check her out at www.lauren-becker.com, facebook.com/Lauren_Becker_music, and youtube.com/user/ukegeek3.
All right.
Yeah, she sounds like a uke geek. There's a lot of ukulele in those songs. And don't forget to check out the Weekly Waltz at all of your favorite social media links. We have our new website, theweeklywaltz.com, which you can go and find everything and anything Weekly Waltz at. You can go check out our iTunes page at bit.ly/tww-iTunes, facebook.com/theweeklywaltz, soundcloud.com/theweeklywaltz, where I'll have the 3 or 2 most recent episodes, because SoundCloud makes me pay for stuff. youtube.com/user/theweeklywaltz, where I'll have every single episode with a little photo slideshow for your viewing pleasure. And if you have a few shackles, please feel free to throw them my way. bit.ly/tww_donate.
Nice.
I would much appreciate it. I do have to pay to keep the show on the air, so anything that you are willing to throw my way, I very much appreciate it.
Donate to the arts, absolutely.
And I mean, obviously, I say this every week, but just supporting local music scene in general, it's very important. All these independent artists there's so much talent all over the place, is basically what I'm saying. And a lot of these people who are very, very talented have a very hard time trying to get the income that they need to be able to keep themselves on their feet. So as much as you can, going to shows, purchasing merch, anything that you can do to support these local musicians that you love, do it.
Absolutely. It can start as simple as, you've got that one friend that's always playing the shows,
Yep.
and they always invite you, and, maybe you're tired or you're busy, but, you make that choice one time to go to one of their shows, give it a try, see
Do
if
it.
you like it. You're going to like it.
Yeah, and I mean, even just something like, going to a show and hearing somebody that you've never seen before. Just like go to a show that like there's nobody on the list that you've heard of. I mean, the worst that can happen is that you hate it and then you leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
nothing to lose.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, yeah, as always, support local music. And I'll see you next week with a new co-host and a new set of 4 songs. Thank you once again, Gehring, for coming on the show.
Thank you again. Yeah.
And I'll see you next week, guys.